Hi, everybody. My name is Alexa Bigwharf. I am an author coach, a publisher, a podcaster, blogger, you name it. I live in the digital world, I suppose. I started blogging about 5 or 6 years ago on a serious, regular basis. And from there went on to put together my first book, which led to a love of putting together books and have continued on since then with multiple books for myself. And then decided, hey, why shouldn't I do this for other people as well? And started helping other people through the process and progress of their books. So as I started doing my books, more and more people started asking me how I did it, what my process was, and where they could find someone to help them. And I thought to myself, maybe this is my way of finding my dream job. So that's what I set out to do. We offer, through my company, we offer publishing support services, author support services, and we do operate a hybrid press, Cat Biggie Press. I would love to talk to you today about accountability because I think this is one of the areas that, wow, that sounds super boring. How is she going to keep me interested talking about accountability? But I try to keep it light. I try to keep it real. At the end of the day, one of the biggest things that we struggle with is actually completing our work, right? So you all know the 2002 article that was published in the New York Times that said about 81% of the population wants to write a book, has a book in them even, is ready to do this thing, but only 0.02% of those people actually finish and publish that book. And why is that? Why is that? Well, it's because it takes a lot of time and effort, and there's a lot of things to be done. You don't just sit down and write for 3 afternoons and have a wonderful book ready to go. Especially in the indie and self-publishing world, you don't have just a book to write. You have a book to write, to publish, to promote, to do all those fun, crazy, wild, and things that are happening simultaneously, often with writing your book. So today I'm going to talk you through some ways to keep yourself accountable, ways to find other people to hold you accountable, and different tips, tools, and strategies that you can implement to keep you on the path to getting your book done. So let's get into it. As I mentioned a minute ago, when you are self-publishing or even indie publishing a book, there is a lot to go into it that has nothing to do with the actual writing itself. I'm sure there's been many times in all of our writing experiences where we feel like we will never finish our book. It just is overwhelming. You have self-doubt that can creep in there. What if nobody buys my book? You have frustration. This stinks. I've written this paragraph 72 times and I can't get it right. If it's your first time going through it, you may not understand the whole process. You might even be a little bit upset by some of the remarks that come back from the editor. You have to take time to grow your thick skin as a writer, all those types of things. You may suffer from writer blocks, or you may just completely come to a total stalemate. And this happens to a lot of us. Writing is not for the weak at heart. So this is why accountability is so important. Think about a gym membership, if you will. Lots of people want to get healthy and lose weight. But how many of us actually do it if we're just going to rely on ourselves to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock, whenever it would have to be, and go on a walk or get on our treadmill or do a P90X video, whatever it might be. So people buy a gym membership so that they know that they're going to be held accountable to their bank account, if nothing else, because that gym membership is going to come out every month, whether they go or not, and they actually show up. Deadlines are important. A lot of times with writing a book, we don't necessarily have a deadline. It's, I want to do this, or this can improve my business, or this is a story I need to share, but there's no major impetus to get it done and get it out there. So if you have some kind of deadline either imposed on you by yourself or by someone else, it can really, really keep you moving towards your completion project. Fees. Okay, so if you have to pay for anything, as we talked about with the gym membership, it makes you want to stick to it a little bit more, or at least accomplish what you're supposed to be doing. Therefore, if you participate in any kind of a paid program, a coaching program, or accountability program where you are actually paying each month for it, you're probably going to stick to it a little bit more. And then just the whole idea of camaraderie. As I mentioned, writing's super emotional. We go through a lot of feelings as we learn to deal with rejection and bad reviews if that should ever happen, with people critiquing our work and maybe not being so nice about it. It's hard. It's hard to find the time. Anybody who's busy living their life knows that it's difficult to fit it in, and sometimes we're exhausted. And it's just nice to have some other people who get us, who understand the space that we're in, and know how to help us move past the blocks that we're coming up with. All right, let's talk about someone who is a very famous research on the actual accountability. So that it's not just Alexa Bigworth giving you her opinion on why accountability is important. So Richard Boyce, he studied the habits of productive new academics. So basically people who are spending a lot of time doing a lot of research and a lot of writing. These people, academics, writing all the time, right? He found that daily writing is key to being a successful writer. But not only that, many writers have old habits that need to be broken. And for those people who try to do it themselves, who just assumed they could fix their old patterns or make it on their own, they were not nearly as successful in changing their habits. So Richard Boyce recommends that you hold yourself accountable to someone else, because that just adds a whole new level of trying to get things done. If you are at all like me, I feel so much pressure when I know that someone is expecting something from me or of me, even when it comes to silly things like dieting or trying to live a healthy lifestyle. If I want to, for example, I went through the Whole30 program. I don't know if any of you guys have done this, but I decided I wanted to try clean eating. So I joined a group of other people who were doing this because I knew that I could not be successful on my own. Scratch that. I could be successful on my own. I have the ability to do it, but would I do it without other people cheering me along, not letting me go buy that tub of ice cream when that's what I really wanted instead of eating my salad that day, etc. It's just the way we are as humans, right? Another author, Tara Gray, who wrote Publish and Flourish, encourages writers to train your writing skills like you would train an athlete. She's got a 12-step plan, and this again is for academic writers, but guys, they have to write a lot and they have to be on point with their writing, so it's not a bad idea to follow along some of the stuff that they're doing. She also drew on the work of Boyce, who also says, yes, daily writing, it's important. Think about your athletes. They train daily. What would happen if our Olympic athletes decided they were only going to train every 3 days for the Olympics? Well, we would not be bringing home the gold like we do every year, would we? No, it requires that constant flexing of your muscles, that constant utilization, and even just keeping yourself in the habit. So it's the best way to stay proficient and to improve your skills. Her 12-step program is really simple. It's just writing for 15 to 30 minutes every day. Don't know why there's a Y at the end of that, and then doing it 5 days a week, preferably 7. Now, Boyce says, do not binge write. Binge write is harmful to you, actually, because you can really wear yourself down, just like binge eating. You really wear yourself down if you write too hard, too long on one day, and then the next day you're basically not able to even sit down and write at all. And you know what happens. You take 1 day off, 1 day becomes 2 days, 2 days becomes 3 days, and then it's been 7 months since you've even touched your writing. So try to do smaller spurts of writing time, brief, regular writing sessions. That's how you train yourself. So that's the mechanics of keeping yourself on track. And then using the accountability partner or group is how you keep moving forward and stay accountable. So it's all just about showing up, making a commitment. Eat the elephant one bite at a time, just 15 to 20 minutes a day. And it's obviously better if you have one person or many people that are going to hold you accountable. Think about your New Year's resolutions. How many of those have you established, even written down, and never actually completed? Your New Year's resolutions are for you. No one else cares if you want to write a book, except for other people who want to write a book. No one else, they may care. That's not good. But they're not going to necessarily push you towards completion. Nobody else cares if you want to lose 10 pounds. Nobody else cares about all those New Year's resolutions. It's up to you to make it, to make sure that you're actually getting through those different stages of the process. Let's think about all the other reasons why it's good to have some kind of accountability. There is a lot of distraction and overwhelm going on in our world, no matter what we're doing, whether it's just trying to breathe and survive every day or add anything extra to our lives, let alone write a book. Most people writing books are not full-time writers. Most people are either doing some type of book to enhance their business, or they have a passion project they really want to write about, or they have a fiction story that's just been burning inside of them for years on end that they have to get out. But it's something that is on top of everything else that you're already doing. When you come home at the end of the day, if you have a family, if you have kids, you've got to make dinner, you've got to make sure your kids do their homework, you've got to get them bathed, you've got to get them ready for school the next day, you got to clean up the kitchen, you have to sign all the dang paperwork, because goodness gracious, they send home a lot of paperwork. There's so much other stuff going on. By the time you finally settle down at night, it's hard to say, oh, I need to go write another chapter to my book. This is where the small brief segments come back, because it sounds a lot less scary to say, I need to just go write for 15 or 20 minutes, right? Now add in, you've got your best friend, your writing accountability partner, Sandy, who's expecting a check-in from you at 10 o'clock to say, I did it, I got this done. And then she can go to bed without worrying, and you can go to bed knowing she did her job, her work. So let me just ask you, where do you want to find yourself in 1 year? Do you want to still be saying, I want to write a book, I have this book, I've got to write this book? Or do you want to have said, guess what, I wrote a book, I'm published, I have a book that's on the way out, or my editor has my book. My editor has my book. Sounds amazing, doesn't it? So is it truly a time issue, or is it a mindset issue? That's another question to ask yourself. And what I mean by that is, yes, time. We all struggle with time. Good grief. Yes, time. We only have 24 hours in a day, and some of us have better 24 hours in a day than others. But a lot of people struggle with the mindset that they just can't do it, or they're afraid of doing it point blank. An accountability partner or group can help you work through some of these issues and maybe see what it is that's stopping you from moving forward. Now, I just want to say a little thing about DIY courses and programs that are all video related. We're going to talk about this in a minute. The first thing a lot of people tend to do is go sign up for a course that's going to help them figure out the process. But here's the deal. Unless you have a very good accountability program, unless you have weekly accountability, unless you have true goals or objectives that are keeping you sticking to what you're trying to do, you may easily get frustrated. It's hard to imagine not only finding the time to do your daily writing, but also finding the time to watch a 5, 10, 20-minute video that someone prepared for you, and then trying to figure out all the things that they just told you to do on top of that to publish your book. So that's just kind of my be wary of all of that stuff, because sometimes it just adds more frustration, and you just need to, at the end of the day, come back to the basics. If you're stuck in a place where you just cannot get your book written, just come back to the basics of writing it and having someone holding you accountable that is going to check in with you. Now I'm going to go through some of the different types of accountability Now I'm going to go through some of the different types of accountability programs that you may or may not consider. This is by no means an exhaustive list. This is just some types of things. So we've already kind of talked about the importance of going one-on-one with a fellow writer. That's one great way to do it. If you don't want to invest in a paid program or a coaching program, find somebody else who's in about the same place as you are and commit to each other. The problem is, what if you two have completely different ideas of success? What if one of you works all the time, is writing all the time, and the other one of you is like, it'll happen when it happens? What if your goals are not aligned? Could happen. You could wind up with a perfect accountability partner, but you may wind up with someone who's going at a completely different speed than you, or has completely different objectives, or just has a completely different style altogether, and you may find that that doesn't really motivate you to get the work done. Another kind of fun way to do accountability is through high-stake challenges, either with one person or multiple person, and having group goals and goals for the group. So I do this actually with a business colleague of mine, and we've recently added a third person to the group, and we have a monthly goals challenge where by the end of the prior month, we go into our little Trello board, which if you don't know about Trello, it's a great way for keeping track of projects. Excuse me. We go into our Trello board, we write very specific goals for the month, and as the month goes by, we move those goals from our list of to-do to completed. At the end of the month, if we do not complete the goals that we listed out there, we owe the other person $100, and vice versa. So our goal is always to not have to pay the other person, and it keeps us on our toes. And first month, very successful. I was sure to complete my goals because I did not want to have to pay her $100. We are starting our second month, and I feel just as motivated to continue that way as well. So I think those are a pretty fun way, put something that you're going to have to actually, is going to mean something to you if you don't meet your goals. Again, be careful who you choose to do this with. You might be Superwoman, yeehaw, cheerleader, yes, we can do it, and you might get paired with Grumpy Grumpster or somebody who freaks out all the time about everything. Again, be careful who you pair yourself up with if you're doing a high-stakes challenge of this nature, and make sure that not only do you have things that are going to actually keep you in the game and help you hold your goals, but also keep you having a good time. It's important to have a good time as you're doing these. Okay, so another option is to just set up your own accountability group or a launch group or street team. For one of the books that I'm writing, Angel of the Burning Night, basically from the time that I knew I wanted to write the book, I got a book cover commissioned and started a launch group for it, or a street team, launch team, whatever you want to call them. And this has held me accountable more than anything in the world, because I have 72 people in that group that I have told I am publishing a book this summer. And they ask me questions about it. I share little tidbits about the writing process along the way. And they encourage me, and they participate in the process. So it's pretty awesome, and something that I definitely recommend if that's not something you're already doing. But it really helps engage other people in the process. And it sets a big old timeline on you. All right, so we've talked about some free options. Now there's the paid versus the free also. So, okay. So now's the point where we talk about whether or not you want to go a paid route versus a free route. So we talked about all the things before this that are basically free: engaging friends, engaging colleagues, engaging other people to push you through the process and hold you accountable. Some people will purchase courses or other types of self-publishing things to kind of push them through the process. Video-based programs are one route. If you enjoy spending a lot of time by yourself, watching videos and doing all of the stuff on your own, oops, you could do something that is free and more engaged. We offer a free 30-day challenge. It's simple daily actions to help you through the process of writing and publishing your book. Well, you're not going to write and publish your book in 30 days. It's depending on where you are in the process. It's different little tidbits that will help you with writing, mindset issues, little things to push you and encourage you each day, some little marketing ideas and things like that. So by no means does that mean free 30-day challenge to write and publish your book, but it's simple daily actions to help you through the process. Other types of paid accountability coaching programs. So I run author coaching groups, basically. And what I found was that people really need to be not only pushed through the process, but given time to do the things that you are working with them to do. So in the first one, we would spend a lot of time going over all the different places that you need to be marketing, or all the different tools that you can use, or at what point in time you should reach out to an editor, or how you should do your landing page, or, you know, all the millions and bazillions of different things that go into publishing a book that have nothing to do with writing. And what I found going through this program a couple of times is that what people really need are small, bite-sized, actionable steps with time to implement them. So that's how we've set up our program. We have small groups. It's not a ginormous group. It's usually between 5 or 10 participants. We meet weekly in a live online setting. We go through and talk about the things that people need to know to learn, and then we have action steps, and we hold each other accountable to actually do the things that we were talking about that week. So if it's, and it's not always just based on writing. If it's set up your landing page, we go through the process of what a landing page is, how you set one up, how you connect it to your email, and then everybody has the time to actually do that. And we make sure that everyone does it. If we're doing a writing goal, we might have everybody is supposed to write so many words or whatnot. We have weekly check-ins or daily check-ins in our group, however often people need that. And it's just, first of all, they've paid to be in it, so they're committed to the process. They're no longer just kind of, well, I might write a book if I want to. They are now committed to, they are invested in the program. And it's been really successful, and people are really enjoying the program. And even if you do something similar with the group that's a free group, like the free 30-day challenge, where we also have emails that go out with bite-sized chunks of information, but also interaction in the group. It's just any place that you can find like-minded individuals where you set your goals and have people help you stick to them. And then we have a much smaller group of people who are providing each other expertise and feedback and help. And we have people that have all kinds of different backgrounds. So some people are able to help with different elements than you would even imagine. It gives you sounding boards when you have ideas, or different thoughts on how you might want to do things with your book or marketing your book. And it's just been a really great experience. The paid commitment, I think, is what gets people to the next step. Once they've invested the money in becoming a published author, they're a lot more likely to move through it. We use the group approach for more support and expert advice. We have small, attainable goals and deadlines to help us get through them. We encourage each other and celebrate each other. And we have really fun and innovative ways of holding each other accountable through tools like Boxer and Trello and other tangible rewards and awards. Okay, so some other ideas before we wrap this all up on accountability is just making sure that you are setting achievable, attainable goals and making sure that you're finding a way to stick to them, whether that's by having someone else hold you to them, whether it's by joining a group, whether it's by paying to be participating in a group to help you move forward. Whatever it is, just make sure that you have set yourself deadlines and rewards or consequences for not meeting them. Do make sure that you find people who motivate you to meet your goals, and get to writing. Thank you so much for listening to this presentation. If you have any questions for me or want to reach out for any help at all, you can reach me at info@writepublishsell.co, or you can come on over to my website and you can join our 30-day challenge at writepublishsell.co/writing-challenge. And we have a group on Facebook as well, so come on over, hang out with us, and we'll hold you accountable. Thanks.